What is you fellas? So today's video is going to be why you are going to ignore her, and it's going to happen so powerfully. Why ignoring her works so well. Every time you ignore her, she's thinking you don't care. Oh yeah, because you don't care. Why ignoring her works so well? Also because you guys are taking steps to better yourself in that process, right? Ignoring her is supposed to be times that you're supposed to understand that she's not supposed to be deserving of you. She has to work harder to get you. Her actions probably were never in place, and that's what's gonna take to get you to not ignore her no more. So I'm gonna get into the discussion of what you guys gotta be doing, what she's feeling, and why it's so important and powerful for a lot of you fellas to put ignoring into place. Make sure you give this video a huge thumbs up. And fellas, if y'all want to talk to me, I want to talk to y'all. It could be about ignoring if that's what you're doing. It could be about no contact, ghosting, all those other things. Consultations are available. And so now let's get into if you're actually fully ignoring and how powerful it's going to work out for you. And so first thing off the bat, when you are ignoring, you're showing you don't care. And this is where fellas get stuck between, should I show I should care, or should I take the route of like being distant? What if I lose her? What if I don't have her as an option? This is now what ignoring puts into place of how much you don't care. Ignoring becomes so powerful where she doesn't understand how you could go without speaking to her. So yes, we could talk about like, yeah, her ego is there and she feels so highly of herself. But bottom line is that the truth of it is that fellas, when you care, when you're emotionally invested into a female, to ignore is not going to be ever a pick. So it's really bringing it back to ignoring. Now, really, the way you have to look at ignoring working so powerful is that girls are not used to it at all. So let's just start off with the basics of how many DMs they get. Now, I'm not talking about daily, right? And every girl's different. But I'm talking about when she goes back to her DMs and she's scrolling, she's checking, there's a new guy probably. If it's checking maybe every 2 weeks for her, maybe 3 weeks, maybe, I don't know, however it works for her. Or let's just say she goes back and she sees the same guys that have been waiting. Now, that's just DMs. But if we talk about validation after validation, it's happening so much and all the time for so many women out here where, oh, wow, ignoring, that's going to be the last thing any man that, you know what, showed me, and this is where it's happening for a lot of you guys that showed me that they like me, that they're going to want to do that. Or just in general, a man that sees me and sees back to the ego that goes on, right? Sees me to ignore, that's not going to happen. But back to her being so used to things, when you are, first of all, showing her that you are caring, that behavior becomes, oh, wow, she's so not used to you showing you don't care. Now, really, the whole idea is that the privilege our females have, that's getting taken away. The used to it, every single guy is getting taken away. And what happens is that she gets into this mind state of, wow, with alpha guys, with sigma guys, high value guys, I always have to do more. I have to get to dealing with ignoring or not getting a respond because I'm being dry, or I'm taking too long, or I made him wait, or I made him feel like an option. So really what's happening is that when it comes to the guys that they want, the guys that are harder to get, the guys that have value, they are struggling with ignoring. They're feeling those feelings, and you could be that guy to bring that into place. Now, if you are high value or you're bringing value to yourself, where you could have been lacking was that you didn't ignore. Or let's say it like this, when you've been with her the whole time, it's been showing how much you're so about her. And so it's really saying that you're showing that you have value now. Or you're saying you've changed how you feel like you should go about things. So it could be a lot of you fellas feel like, you know what? I'm at that mind state of ignoring is nothing for me. Really, it should be every fella is getting to like, if I have to ignore, I'll ignore it. So if ignoring is nothing to you, you really have this girl can't comprehend how you could get to ignoring. Back to once more being so privileged or used to it. If it's now not the alphas or the guys that are high value, the guys that she wants, being so privileged, she's gonna have the simps, the guys that are willing to do all the things that she wants, basically make her ego be filled up, but get used to things and be satisfied. And so when it comes down to working for the guys that she wants, she's choosing. She's only doing it sometimes. So ignoring, when you put into place, you put yourself into the category of being a high value guy. If you're already a high value guy, you make it be known. So it's really saying that females dismiss, discard, overlook guys. Not only are they getting their DMs or they're getting compliments out in public, not only is that happening, right? Validation after validation, but oftentimes they deal with y'all. And then they gotta see, this is now viewing it differently, they gotta see that with you it's different. So different as in, you happen to be maybe somebody she is attracted to, looking at and feeling like he's really physically attractive, right? And then also with your hustle, with your grind, that you could all have into place, right? But what's happening with ignoring those guys, you become that guy that has that she wants. So it's like a challenge because you have that to back it up. And she could want just the idea of having somebody like you not ignore her ever again. If that's the case, if you never did it before. But back to ignoring, now it's becoming so much more powerful. And fellas, don't forget about Patreon. We talk about the things that can happen in the sheets, what you do with her if you are getting to that point, and a whole lot of stuff we can't talk about on YouTube. So please check out that link after this video. Don't forget about Black Friday though, and don't forget about Thanksgiving sale, okay? Consultations, we can talk about whatever you would like to talk about, but let's backtrack to ignoring. Now how it becomes so much more powerful, or you know what, let's say powerful in general, you bring that power in, you now have a female understand that you could do that with the other guys. You could do that with, yes, a simp, or yes, I used to like you, but the old me is not there, so you could do that with the next guy. So really privilege, getting things to be so easy, having things be her way, that's out of the picture now. That is not an option. She can't have that happen. So it's like, y'all might be so stuck on, well, those guys can do it, or, well, she never did it with me, but it's gonna happen with you. Like, it's almost like when you put ignoring into place, she has no option. You give her no option now. So let's talk once more about how you ignore her and she's so privileged or used to guys making it easy. The other thing that makes them really hate the fact, but it makes it work so powerful in your favor, is that she starts hating the fact that she's getting rejected by you. And we also know that females don't get rejected often. So back to being privileged and getting things so much easier, guys doing things for her and, you know, whatever it is, calling the shots. That is one case, but it becomes an even big problem. This is oftentimes more with the guys that are doing more for her, nicer guys, simps, whatever you want to call it. But that is what's happening. So it's kind of happening when you're not doing the ignoring, when you're not putting into place where you could, let's say, show her that, you know what, all the easy ways, or how it's been so easy with all these other guys, these guys that entertain you, it won't be me. And then what's more, understanding that you have to bring the value. Don't think like, of course, just any guy, or maybe if there is no chemistry, she never really liked you. Don't think it will work so strong. Ignoring also works more so when it's like out of the blue. So let's just talk more though about how it becomes so, you know, very uncomfortable for a lot of females, and it's now back to rejection. So rejection, some females never expect to be rejected, especially by a guy that showed her maybe in the past that they liked her, or a guy that, you know, she thinks that she could actually get easy. Rejection is the last thing that she's thinking about. So just to add rejection being a problem, she's not thinking it's gonna happen with ignoring. Ignoring her is actually a form of rejection, if you guys don't get that part. You have to put rejection into her face by being gone, right? Or no communication once more. But really, overall, what she's feeling is, wow, this guy is now doing something that another guy wouldn't do, right? A simp would do that. A simp would make sure he's there. But, you know, you being the different guy, rejection, being the guy that's not showing interest, not choosing to do whatever for her because you like her, that is something she is not expecting whatsoever. So rejection too falls down to females will get the guys that they want. Yeah, that's possible. And then also guys approach them. So the last thing that they're thinking is that, oh, well, I'll talk to a guy that doesn't want me. I'll be speaking to a guy that is going to show me less interest. So for you, when you get to ignoring, stepping all the way back and not wanting to, let's say, communicate with her, let's say it like this, better yet, you don't have nothing to say. It's the last thing, like it's unbelievable, but it's just the feelings that she has to feel is so unexpected. She's not prepared for it. And so rejection is like the hardest thing for some females. Like it hits them very much hard, and it really gets them back into that nature of being emotional by nature, because they actually oftentimes feel a way that they're feeling a way that you don't want to speak to them, that you're ignoring. And like the thing is, they don't expect you to do it, but they're not even ready for it to happen. And then when it does happen, they're so literally, let's say like this, so not prepared. And it hits them sometimes, for some females, if they're more emotional by nature, hits them so much harder. But really, it's like when it's happening, it's not supposed to. And then those feelings that she has to feel, not understanding, you actually not wanting to say nothing, back to assumptions, gotta keep running. She has to assume things. She has to try to figure out on her own. Like that all is gonna make her basically hate the fact that you're ignoring her, but make it work so powerful where she wants to speak to you. She needs to know more. Back to assumptions, that's the last thing a female is trying to do. So fellas, if you want to talk about assumptions, like as in if she's making assumptions and you want to know what she's saying, ask me through consultations. We can talk about whatever it is, if it's ignoring as well, but if it's no contact, it could be that. Whatever you would like to do, strategies, let's discuss it through consultations. And so let's just go back to how she doesn't like, and we'll wrap up with rejection. Of course, she doesn't like rejection. She's not prepared for it. When they're going through that process, they're really like going through actual emotions of not wanting to feel these feelings, not making it so difficult for themselves. So it's like sometimes, how is she going to deal with this? What's going to be better? If she's obviously having a higher ego than another female, or let's say she's thinking so highly of herself, she's going to have much more of a difficult time reaching out. But she's hating the fact that you're ignoring her because that's going to be what she has to do. So she's going to maybe do more. This is where when you're doing no contact, or you actually just broke off and you guys are still in communication, but you're not speaking to her the same way, you'll still see signs from her end that she's still maybe having to try, or she just can't accept things right now. So rejection is one thing that some females, once again, will never think that they'll have to deal with. You not caring, you stepping away, putting no contact into place later on, doing all these things, it's just all unexpected, surprising. And you're basically showing her back to being that guy that is emotionally unavailable. You're showing her that she can't physically or mentally get to you at all. Like whatever she does, her looks, whatever she says, all these things, it could all be things that she's trying to do, but it didn't work with you, and it can't work with you. And your strategy being stronger, let's say it's stronger than a lot of other guys, being stronger to be the guy to ignore, she's gonna actually notice that. She's actually not gonna like it once more. So remember, when you do have a history too, or chemistry, she might think of the moments. Ignoring her, getting back to basically showing her you don't care, could also make her get back into feelings that she never felt before, because she has to now go through other things that wasn't available when you were always there. Responding, giving her something, making sure that she's aware of things, right? So making sure her emotions are okay, that's not your job. If she's really trying to get more out of you too while you're ignoring, make sure, fellas, you're not reaching out or giving nothing or giving her something when you feel like you should. Don't do none of that. Let her try, reach out, and make ignoring be so powerful when it's actually the facts of you're not responding. Make that be the actual thing. You don't have nothing to say to her, and don't care. Females hate it, but they actually love it. That's what gets them wanting to get more out of you. So build that mysteriousness. All right, fellas, I thank y'all so much for watching, especially until the end. Don't forget about the Black Friday and Thanksgiving sale. And once more, check out Patreon. Has a whole lot of videos you guys will not see on here. And y'all will see me in my next video. Bye, y'all.